Well, Henry Cooper's nothing but a tramp. He's a bum. I'm the world's greatest. He must fall in 5 rounds, but if you talk about me, I'll cut it 3. I'll never fight another fella as tough as Doug Jones, not even that big ugly bear Sonny Liston.
Is he your next fight?
Well, after I annihilate this Henry Cooper, I want that bear.
And what's going to happen to him?
I want him bad.
What's going to happen to him?
He might be great, but he'll fall in 8. I'm the prettiest fighter in the ring today. That's my label.
Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University, and we're going to be doing a spotlight on story on Superman versus Muhammad Ali, the greatest versus the greatest. All right, this was a fantastic comic book. It is one of the biggest of all time comic book great stories that came out. Look, there's been a whole bunch of crossover stories between the Marvel and DC, and Marvel and other companies, and DC and other companies, and then more Marvel and DC, and just all over the place. And it's like, yeah, those were all sometimes pretty good, you know? Sometimes they were, most of the time they were far less than that. You know, it's like, okay, somebody just decided let's capitalize off of this and make some money, all right? In the meantime, this story, back in 1978, wow. Not only was this a huge seller, but more than that, this was very well received. Like, people just fell in love with this comic book. This is one of the greatest comic book, 2 of the greatest heroes of all time, one living, one fictional. And one of the greatest comics of all time. It's like that. Okay, so again, 1978 for this comic book. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams were the writers for this. Neil Adams adapted the story. And Neil Adams is also the penciler for this story. Yeah, pulling double time. So, going a little further, we got Dick Giordano and Terry Austin as the inkers. The colorist is Corey Adams. Gaspar Saladino is the letterer. Julius Schwartz is the editor. Okay. So, yes, this is a one-shot story. It is what it is. Look, one of the greatest covers of all time has to go to this comic book. It's just, sorry, look at it. Just look at it. And if you don't understand right away why this is one of the greatest comic books ever, it's probably because you're young and you're just not recognizing some of those characters. Turn the page. When you turn the page, you get to see the outline of the forefront at the very least. Like the ones all the way in the back where you can't recognize, they're just like a paint splart to kind of get, you know, the idea, that the sense that, oh yeah, there's a really big show, you know? It's cool and all, but when you get to see that they're all numbered, and then you look below and you see the code, okay? Anything with, you find the number and you'll find the name of that person. You want to know who that person is. Like, for instance, who's number 168? All the way down in the front, on the bottom, a little bit to the right, with the blue, the blue cowl and the pointy bat ears. Yeah, that's Batman. That's number 168. That's Batman, but it says A in parentheses. You look up in the code, A. Showbiz personalities. Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. Wait, Batman doesn't say A. Batman says H. H, you look in the code, that's DC characters. So you can look, you see all these different ones. Like, who's that right next to, directly to the right of Batman? That's Sonny Bono. All right, Sonny and Cher. Cher is in the story also, but these two aren't together at the time. So Cher is actually a ways closer to the turnbuckles. You know what I'm saying? Right next to that, Jimmy Carter and his wife, the president of the United States at the time. You know what I'm saying? The only guy to ever actually achieve peace in the Middle East, when everybody else said, even to this day, can't be done. Jimmy Carter was like, hold my beer. Yeah, anyway, so, like the best hold my beer ever. So, you look around, you'll see like Plastic Man is in there, the Metal Men are in there, Hawkman and Hawkwoman are in there, the Qatar Hall and Shiara Hall version. And you'll see a whole bunch of regular celebrities too. Oh, Carol Fenris is in there. I'm just now noticing that. You're always going to find somebody else in there, which is crazy. Who else is up in here? You'll see... Don King, for one, is in there. Also all the way down to the bottom, very close to Batman. He doesn't have the tall hair in this, so it's a little bit surprising, right? This was way, way back in the day. Yeah, Don King was around for a while in the boxing world. Betty Ford is there. Geez, who else is there? Just, you know, a whole bunch of people. Oh, Walt Simonson is there. He was working for DC at the time. before he went on to his amazing Thor run. But I mean, dude, this is one of the best covers ever. To just look through and see all these people back and forth between the front cover and the inside cover. This is just one of the best comics ever. I love this. Absolutely love this. So you get a really quick little in this corner and in that corner and all that good stuff. And it's for the fate of the world. So we're going to take a look at the very first real page of the story. And you'll see it's a black neighborhood, and you see Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, and Clark Kent. They're walking, they're hanging out through this neighborhood, and they're looking to get an exclusive interview with somebody. Obviously, it's going to be Muhammad Ali. I mean, come on, it's like let's go down here and let's see if we can't find just some random person off the street. They're looking for Muhammad Ali. All right. So the thing that I noticed the most about it, and it might as well be the vanishing point, is that one dude way up in the front with that wristband, as I guess is supposed to be a wristwatch, and he's looking down at what, that cute kid that the mom is pulling? No. He's looking at her booty. He's looking at the booty, the butt. All right? That's what he's looking at. Can hardly blame him. Neil Adams drawing one of the best butts. And I know Rogue, Psylocke, all those. No. Right here. Probably one of the best drawn butts in the world. All right, let's get rid of the silliness at this point. So, and this comic isn't really that silly. You'd think it would be, right? Like, Muhammad Ali's a human versus Superman? Nah, good story, dude. So, these guys are walking. Lois is getting a little bit testy because, like, we've been walking around for like 3 days looking for this guy. Your key sources are saying he's here and there and all these other places, and he's nowhere. Okay, he's nowhere. Where is this dude? So all of a sudden, they come across, and there he is, playing basketball. He's dunking on a bunch of kids. They're like, you're just as good in the ring as you are out here in the hoops. It's like, nah, I'm only terrific here. I'm the greatest in the ring. Like, he never stops, and I believe it. I believe he would never stop. It's like, hey, can we have an interview? And he's looking at Lois like, well, you're better looking than Howard Cosell, so sure. I can't blame him. So all of a sudden, like, this alien dude just comes out of nowhere, like, just warps in. And he's like, I have come to have a conversation with, like, people. So move aside, woman. Move aside. I said move, woman. And just like, whoo, shoves her. She falls down. Like, he knocks this woman down so hard that, of course, Jimmy Olsen ain't going to, like, step up. But even Clark Kent's like, I'm going to stay in my Clark Kent, form because I'm not doing this. Like, that alien just, like, roughed her up bad. I'm a little bit nervous. Muhammad Ali's like, say what? He walks up, he's like, hey man, you gonna apologize to this woman because you don't just come around and start throwing women to the ground. What's up with that? So this alien, who clearly has a below 70 IQ, pimp slaps Muhammad Ali. I want you to really stop and think about that. Now, maybe you're not familiar with Muhammad Ali to that degree, right? And you're thinking maybe Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, maybe Conor McGregor. Like, just imagine going up to any one of those people and just pimp slap, just backhand. Blip! I want you to make the physical, like, seriously, I'm not joking about it. I want you to make the physical action of pumping it, like, cock the hand over to your left shoulder, all right, and just boom, do the and act like you just hit one of these sick, insane individuals who could drop you with the drop of a hat. You know what I'm saying? And then imagine the look on your face afterwards, because that is what I had on my face when I saw. I'm like, what? And so Muhammad Ali's like, oh my. Like, this is funny because he's acting like it hurt. He's like, oh my, you really are in trouble. He like one shots him into and this is how I die. So it just goes flat. Dude just gets swatted. Like, one shot, and Ali just bodies this alien. So he's like, man, I don't know if you were glutton for pain, but if you want more, all you gotta do is stand up and push her again, dude. Like, he's challenging. Superman's like, I'm out. kid's like, I'm going, check it out, dude. He's like, I'm gonna go alert the authorities. And it's cool because, like, I guess he just trusts Ali, which is, you know, I would. I would. It's like, there's an alien invasion. Call Superman. Ali walks up. Never mind, we're good. No, seriously, like, just in all seriousness, Superman goes to the side and he's like, okay, no alien is just going to show up by himself on Earth and start, like, you know, body checking people and all that without actually having a backup. So let me go and see what his backup is. And he flies up out of the atmosphere and immediately sees like about 1,000 warships situated tactically over top of the Earth. And he's like, dang. I would too. Like, oh, maybe Ali should have just left Lois on the ground, but like, you tripped or something, man. The floor's a little slippery here. You know, you might want to get up and dust yourself off. Because, oh, so Ali's still talking trash, but he's still like, you know, okay, Soup's like, what's going on, dude? Because, yeah, like, is there something going on up there? I figure there's got to be. And Soup's like, yep, there's an alien invasion up there. But Soup is like, listen, man, what are you doing with this invasion? I'm going to knock you out. He's like, go ahead, I dare you. Show how mean you guys are. I'm here because you humans are too violent. You human beings are too violent. You got too much stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. I casually moved this woman out the way. He doesn't say all that, but like it would have been great if they did. Denny O'Neil, you missed a good one there. Anyway, so dude's like, listen, one of you two is going to be fighting my champion. All right? That's the way it's going to work. I have a champion, and one of you two is going to be fighting him. It's like, okay. So they're both like, yeah, I will. It's like, wait, what? So Ali's like, I should be doing it. Like, you're not even from Earth. He's like, yeah, but I'm Superman, and I'm a citizen of every single country in the new UN. He's like, yeah, and I beat this guy, that guy, that guy. Who'd you beat? You know what I'm saying? Back in 1978, did he even fight Darkseid yet? I don't think he did. Anyhow, so, no, I don't think he did. So, what do you call it? Yeah, so Ali's like, why are we fighting with each other, man? Like, you know, this guy's the bad guy. He's like, true. He's like, you two have to figure out who you're going to fight. And he's like, and you know what? Just because you did, you know, shove me around and you don't seem to get the idea of don't touch me, watch this. So he sends down some missiles, right? These two missiles go flying down towards St. Louis, Missouri. It's like, choo! And Superman's like, oh no! So he flies up to try and stop him, and he does, barely. He barely does. But, what do you call it? As he's doing it, like the more missiles hit in the water, or these missiles hit in the water. So he's got to like do a thunderclap to try and get him to, you know, like the tidal wave to not destroy everything. And even then, the guy goes and sends even more missiles down to an uninhabited island in the Pacific. I don't know how many uninhabited islands we've got, but we've got one less now because Soups and Muhammad Ali couldn't get along. So Ali's like, listen, here's the deal. How about you and me go at it with each other, all right? You and me go at it, and whoever wins, that's the person who gets to fight against the champion, all right? Soups is like, dude, I'm super. He keeps on going on this. He's like, I'm Superman. He's like, so the guy's like, oh, well, you better figure that out really soon because you're going to be fighting back in my home planet, and we have a red sun. So think about that. So Soups is like, dang. So he's like, all right, fine. I know this pocket dimension that has a little bit of a red sun, all right? This little tiny bit, and we can go here and we can fight. And the guy just gave us 24 hours to do this fight, right? Well, check this out. I've got this one interdimensional aperture that we can go into so that every single minute is like a month. You know what I'm saying? Not really, but it's like an hour or something like that, or a day. Anyway, so we could be in there. We could train for 2 months straight. All right? Instead of 24 hours, 2 months straight, and you could train me. And he's like, okay, fine, let's go. So they go in there, and there's like this really cool, like, dude, if you want to learn how to box, just look at this page. No, I'm for the most part, I'm serious. You figure this out, you memorize this page, that's your first step in boxing. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I think that Ali himself wrote this. That's all I'm saying. I think that Ali was like, all right, this is how you're going to write this, okay? Because here's the deal. And just writes it all down. It was beautiful. So he's teaching him how to fight. And meanwhile, the aliens are ticked off because they realize what they're doing. It's like, whoa. I said 24 hours and you're cheating to eke out some more time? Not cool. So he goes and starts attacking other people, and they come in, they send these, monsters like, bad guys. How dare you do this? How dare you cheat? Soups and Cassius are like, let's beat up these robots, that come in to try and arrest them. But the final guy's like, dude, none of that's going to matter. We're going to blow up the Earth, and you're going to be stuck inside this dimension. You're going to come out and see the entire Earth is gone, dude. So think about it. It's like, all right, fine, a direct threat to the Earth. So they come out like, dude, what are you doing? We're not cheating. It's like, actually, you are. I give you 24 hours, and you're in this other dimension. You've had 2 weeks to train right now. You cheated. It's like, okay, obviously I'm not going to be able to defeat you because you cheated. Obviously I'm not going to be able to, defeat you in this argument, so fine. Let's just go on and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 weeks of training out of this. Let's do this. And mind you, while he was in this dimension, he didn't have the red sun. So he was learning all this stuff as a regular human-level person. So they're going to go to this other planet where these these aliens are called the Scrub. Yeah, that's with 2 B's. SCURBB. Ain't no scrub gonna buy my love. Anyway, so I won't quit my day job. So these knuckleheads called the Scrub. Oh, for crying out loud. They believe that Earth is a very warlike race, and they have no honor or anything like that. And like, we're gonna put you guys down, all right, unless you can defeat this champion, all right, because we are a benevolent race. We're a great race, and if you can't beat us in a fair fight, talking about your warlike, then you're useless. Makes no sense. Don't worry about all that stuff, all right? So these guys go into fight to fight each other, and meanwhile, this guy Hun'Ya shows up, and he's the champion for the other guys. It's like, whichever one of you two beats each other over here, the winner has to fight Hun'Ya. And Hun'Ya is just this huge dude. But meanwhile, Superman's just kind of like, oh, wow, okay, because he doesn't have his powers here, mind you. Ali, though, he's just like, yeah, I'm sorry, were you saying something? And the dude was like, Hun'Ya, me big, like that. And everybody's like, you didn't hear him? It's like, no, I was actually falling asleep. Soups, did you hear what he told me? He's like, I don't know what's going on. Soups is playing with the game. And it is a game. It's one of those psychological warfare games that Ali always played. He's like messing with him. He's like, this guy, he's ugly, and he's stupid, and he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he's a total nerd. What are you doing? Why are you even here? You know what I'm saying? You're just ugly. It's a good thing you got thick skin, man, because you got a thick skull, too, to go with it. You're not letting anything in. I'm not impressed. You know what I'm saying? And they're just like, how dare you? Insolent! And they're literally screaming multiple times, insolent! Every little thing that comes out. He's like, yeah, this guy's an idiot. He's like, insolent! It actually is funny at one point. So you start seeing all these people start showing up for this big show. And it's not like on the front cover, but like people are watching intergalactically. People are showing up. People are watching on their closed circuit TVs, very special closed circuit TVs. You know what? If you're not familiar with closed circuit TV, the closed circuit TV spectacular that blew everything away was actually WrestleMania. I can't remember what year that was, but the first WrestleMania. The second one was actually shown on Showtime. I remember watching that live. And then the third one was the first one that was put on pay-per-view, which is a different version of closed circuit TV. Closed circuit is just, it's going to go to these rooms, all these different rooms, and you can go in there standing room only. You could shove in and you could watch this, but you have to pay to get in. Yeah, cool. I remember when the first WrestleMania was going on, my father and I, we were out by ourselves, like we left the house and everything so we can go out to do laundry. You know what I'm saying? We weren't going to stay home and do it. We went out to do the laundry. It was a lot of laundry. My father kept on calling in, and I went like this, like we got, cell phones. No, this is way back in the day, man, the first WrestleMania. And they had the call-in lines. So you'd have to call in and be like, and you hear the recording. Okay, so what's happened so far is, Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper are going at it, and the big fight, and Mr. T is just punched Paul Orndorff, Cowboy Bob Orton, and knocked him out, and like all the crazy stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So we get the updates, and he'd be listening, and he'd fill me in. It's like, Hogan just knocked out Piper. You know what I'm saying? Just going on back and forth like that. And I'm like, wow. So yeah, that was back in the day. And of course, he's calling on a payphone. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing Superman used to change in, and never mind, kids. So anyway, Superman and Ali go at it. Now, you can see this one statement that's made here. Now, these statements actually come out several times, and this is the way I believe that these stories should be written. Okay, there's a social justice aspect here, but it's not to me. It didn't come across as platform speaking. It came across as like this wasn't subtle either. So when people talk about, oh, the way the X-Men used to do it was subtle and blah blah blah, yeah. Sometimes it was subtle. Sometimes it absolutely wasn't. We could talk a whole lot about how Kitty Pryde would come out and actually use the N-word to compare it to the word mutie, because that was the impression they were trying to give, that, hey man, when we say mutie, we mean all of these words. So no, but more than that, this is Superman who chose to wear his costume because to all these alien races, all humans look alike, and the subtle, slight differences in skin hue didn't change anything. They still all look the same. So wearing the costume is the only way they could tell the difference between Muhammad Ali and Superman. That's awesome. That's awesome. DC had a couple good ones too. Everybody always points back to Marvel. No, DC had quite a few good ones also. And this is just one example. But I got to say, it's my favorite example. Even in this book, it's my favorite example. But there are many more examples. So these two are going at it. And, Ali is, he's taking a couple hits. He's giving a couple hits. They're basically going back and forth, and it's kind of whatever. But very quickly, he just turns the table completely. Like Superman with all his Rao Jitsu and all that stuff, his physical martial arts that he learned from the crystals in the Fortress of Solitude from the Kryptonian martial arts style. We got like 1 million of them here on Earth, and they only had one back in Krypton. Psh, sad. Anyway, so what they do is that none of that stuff helped Superman at all. Like Ali just houses Supes, jacks him up in the worst way. Mind you, they're both under a red sun. So batters him practically unconscious. Supes refuses to actually fall. All right. Now in real life, I don't care who you are, you're gonna fall. Ali's beating you up like that. Like I don't know how many people have actually been hit in the jaw in a real fight. I'm not talking about something on the schoolyard playground. Like in a real fight, been hit in the mouth so hard that your knees just disappear. You're like, and you're shaking all over the place. And it's like, this dude's still coming. And my knees are not listening to me at this point. You're wobbly like, dude, I'm just saying, no. Nobody's going to be able to stand there while a dude like Ali is hitting you. Mind you, Supes is under the red sun. Supes does not lift weights. Don't sit here and tell me Superman lifts weights and all that stuff. So it's funny. As a comic book guy, this was actually one of the least believable things in the world to me, that he was still standing. After Ali wins by decision, so it was like a moral victory, I guess, so people wouldn't be like, oh, come on, Supes ain't gonna fall. Yeah. Anyway, after he winds up winning by decision, his hand is raised, that's when Superman falls over. So now these aliens come up and try and save him. Now here's another one of those social justice moments. Ali's like, you've never done anything to help us Earthlings, to help our people. So don't touch us. Don't try and be nice to us now, just because you've seen something that looked cool. Get away from us, or I'm going to lay you out myself. So that's one of the subtler ones, you know what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of subtleties in this. But Superman is laying there and he is bruised. Like Lois was crying, thinking that she was going to die. Oh, I should also point out that Jimmy Olsen gets a good role in here. This is probably one of his biggest roles ever. He actually becomes the announcer. So anyway, Ali goes in the back with Supes and he's like, oh man, I'm going to help you out. And his trainers are there to try and help out. And his whole coaching team is there. And finally he comes back out and he's got to fight this champion, like immediately. Yeah, sure, that's fair. That's fair. So he's going against Hun'Ya, and meanwhile the leader of the scrub, he's in this ovaloid glass encasing, and you'll be able to see the different displays that he's trying to show you from all over the galaxy in it. But for the most part, everybody's just watching this match, and he's in there, and he's like, okay, here comes the match, and we're gonna do this now. And Jimmy Olsen's hyping it up. He's the hype man. And all of a sudden, Athena, the goddess Athena, shows up. Now she's got her own name to these guys, Pallas Athene, according to this scrub race, the scrub species of creature. But on Earth, she's Athena, and she's acknowledging both. And she's like, yeah, wisdom and more will prevail here. And I'm going to infuse in you the actual rules of this game. Because the ball is not in the court of these humans. So I'm going to make this fair for all of us. And as one of your main goddesses, you will obey. They're like, oh, yeah, absolutely, Athena. Yes, definitely. So she infuses in them what the rules will actually be. So if somebody cheats, everyone will know that there was cheating taking place. There's no need for a judgment call. Everyone will know. So these guys go at it with each other, and she's overlooking the whole thing. Meanwhile, what do you call it? What's his face? The main alien, Rakar, or whatever his name is. He has his ovoid display what the destruction of the Earth is going to look like by these 1,000+ warships with all these, Earth killer missiles in them. And Ali's like, oh, shoot. And he's like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So you need to fight like it's real. He's like, all right, fine, let's do it. So he's going at him. He's like, I want you to predict, you're always used to, predicting what fight this match is going to end in. So I want you to predict right now what round is this match going to end in. And he's like a little bit, and that's when he shows him the craziness. So Ali just goes on this big tirade. He's like, fine, I'm gonna do it in the fourth. I'm gonna knock you out because I'm pretty and you ugly. I'm not just gonna beat you. I'm gonna destroy you. I will destroy you. And goes in, it's Ali. It's not Muhammad Ali in a comic book if he's not waxing poetic. So boom, there you go. You got it. So in the back, there's this dude. He's a human, black dude, and he's trying to find a way off of the ship, which is weird. And he's just running around. He's just cold clocking everybody who comes close to him, all the aliens. He's just bam, 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 smacking them all down. And he's finally able to get away and closer towards Earth. Once he does that, he takes off the black person mask. I wouldn't call that blackface. It wasn't makeup. Anyway, no, real talk. He just took off the mask, and it's actually Superman. He just needed to find a way out. Superman wasn't quite as hurt as we thought he was. And knowing that he was going to get to a yellow sun, all that damage that he took from Ali, that was going to be insta-healed. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get the Superman healing factor and all that crazy stuff. So meanwhile, what do you call it? This champion is going up against Hun'Ya is going up against Ali. Dude hits Ali, Ali's doing a couple good shots and trying to get the move started, but one punch, just one, breaks through his defense, and Hun'Ya's like, boom, with a right cross, takes the mouthpiece right out of Ali. Whoa, dude's not playing. So they're going at it, and Ali is not looking good. This dude's just way too big, way too unearthly big. Meanwhile, Superman is flying around, and he's actually trying to destroy these 1,000+ Armada ships, and doing a pretty good job. But the force fields alone are tough. It's hard for him to penetrate them. So he's finding parts of the ship like this solid hatch, and he's slamming it through the ships, and he's one ship at a time destroying them. And they're shooting at him. Sometimes they're hitting him, but he's doing the best he can. But it's taking forever. And it's if I can't destroy all these ships before this match ends, I get the feeling they're not going to abide by their edict, and they're actually going to come after us. They're going to try and destroy the Earth. So Ali is still doing his part, and he's just like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is hard. The alien, Rakar or whatever, the leader, he's like, Lee, this isn't looking good for you, dude. Whatever, man. We're going to come by and we're going to destroy your planet. And whoever is, we're able to capture before we destroy the planet, we're going to take them as our slaves. And he's like, wait a second. Did you just say slaves? Yeah, again, this one is not subtle at all. He's like, everyone is slaves. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. So he just goes up. He beats the holy heck out of Hun'Ya. Just like uppercuts galore. Superman's doing the best he can. At one point, like, he gets zapped and he's like, I've got that much left in me. So he sees a whole bunch of warships lined up in a row. He's already destroyed maybe half of the armada. He takes out maybe another 10 more of these ships and just like at everything he can, he just flies like, and just like smashes his face right through like 10 of these ships. And he's just like, doesn't even get shot again. He's just like, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna go night-night. Like he's out. He's done. Wow. So there's still plenty of ships left. And what do you call it? Ali's just, he gives like this crazy right punch, like that, and Hun'Ya just goes right out the ring. Gets knocked out the ring. Dude, if you get knocked out the ring, that's a knockout punch. You're done. You're done. You're not allowed to get back in the ring if you even could. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're done. Match is over, dude. And Rakar or whatever, he's like, yeah, no, because everybody's cheering, yay, the Earth is saved. He's like, no, we're still going to destroy your planet. Now, you're thinking Athena's going to jump in, but that's not actually what happens. Instead, Hun'Ya jumps in. He comes back up, and he's just like, oh, man, this is really bad. What's going on? And he just turns around and boom! He punches the glass ovoid that Rakar, or whatever his name is inside. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, you fool! You're betraying us all. He's like, I'm the leader. He's like, I'm sorry, let me get this straight really quick. Or let me clear something up with you really quick. If you say one more word, I'm gonna rip the life out of you. And it's like, you ever get so mad at somebody, you say something that just doesn't make any sense? Like, I'll rip out your throat or I'll end your life. But you wind up combining it, like, I'm gonna rip the life right out of you. What does that mean? Anyway, he gets the message. Rakar gets the message. He's like, So, Soups and like the guards are supposed to be coming. They're like, no, everybody's behind Hun'Ya. And Soups and Ali are like, what's going on? Why'd you save us? And he's like, look, this dude went and lied to us. He disgraced all of us, scrub. Retlar is his name, excuse me, the main bad guy, the leader. And he says, listen, we're an honorable race, though. And it turns out you guys are actually honorable, too. Now, he tried to pass off this idea that you guys are warlike, which, okay, so are we. Duh. Hello, Armada. But, Armada poised to destroy your planet. But at the same time, we're honorable. You guys are honorable, too. And there's the message. There's a message there. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? He's just like, dude, this is not the way that we're going to do things. It's not the way we're going to do life. So you guys are free to go. I just disposed of the leader. We're going to figure out new leadership. We're good. And you guys are awesome. And yeah, duh, of course they are. So they leave. They're able to go back home. And at the very end, the verdict. They're like, okay, well, that was really cool, huh? Superman's like, that was cool, right? That was awesome. He's like, oh, yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyways, I'll see you later. Clark Kent. I'm about to lose my voice now. And he's like, well, that's just ridiculous. What are you talking about? He's like, shut up, man. Now, I didn't mention this before because it would have been the easiest thing in the world to figure out, all right? But when you're reading it, it's not. But if I tell you, it is. Way back when they were doing, when they were trying to get that interview, that exclusive interview with Ali, Lois is sitting there badgering Jimmy, and Clark is trying to calm them both down. By calm them both down, he means Lois, because she's loca en la cabeza. And when they finally meet up with Ali, it's like, oh man, he's got this video camera. He's like, here I am with the greatest interview in the world, and I fresh forgot to load film. I've got no film. I'm completely out of film. After the alien attack and all that stuff, the immediate, like when the one solo invader comes down and Soups has already gone up and seen, yeah, we're under invasion. Like they're all ready to blow us up. He says so. Jimmy says something else about how, oh wow, I got to film this, an alien invasion. Like this is an exclusive. And he's like, yes, Jimmy, except that you're all out of film. So he mentions that to Soups. Soups is like, well, what if I told you I used my X-ray vision to see that? And you guys know exactly what I'm going to say, what happens in the comic book. He's like, see, if you would have done that, then the X-rays would have destroyed the film. And you know that. So you wouldn't have done that. And he's like, all right, fine, champ, you're right. I'm Clark Kent. You know what I'm saying? He like pulls open his Superman shirt and there's a regular shirt and tie underneath. That doesn't happen, but that'd be cool. Anyway, it's like, listen, Ali's like, listen, man, we are the greatest. And it's such a great moment, such a great comic book, and I absolutely love it. It's an amazing story. Guys, there was so much done with this, man. Like they actually went and they made. First off, I'm filming this on, and you're going to see this maybe 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I don't know. But I'm actually filming this on the 3rd of June, 2018, which is exactly 2 years after we lost the greatest real-life superhero in the world, Muhammad Ali. So 2 years after his death, back in 2016, June 3rd, 2016, and this is 2018, 2 years later exactly. They re-released this comic book in hardcover, and I mentioned this on a Facebook group that I did on I read this the same day and filmed this on the same day that I also did a Facebook post. If you guys go to Comic Book University on Facebook, look for picture me with one of my black headbands. I've got a bunch of them. What do you call it? You'll see me there. And I did a Facebook Live post. I try to do a Facebook Live post, once or twice a week on average. Whole bunch of other people posting really good stuff on there too. Try to post a bunch of good stuff, comic book related there. And it's a good way to just, you want questions answered. I'm always gonna, for the most part, see those posts. So, on Facebook, on YouTube, I necessarily won't. But I will pretty much always see them. I'll see them more likely on Facebook otherwise. So they did a re-release in 2010 of this comic book in hardcover format. They released 2 different versions. One is the original in hardcover. The next one they wound up releasing is all new artwork. But not all new, but like the front cover is redone and a bunch of other things are redone also by Neil Adams. So he redid his own artwork. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I don't own any of them, unfortunately. I'm stuck looking at this stuff on the DC app. That being what it is, what do you call it? They really do need to re-release this. You know what I'm saying? And maybe for Ali's next birthday. You know what I'm saying? Which is sometime in January. I think it's January 17th. Anyway, I think that would be great. And on top of that is the idea that they released a whole bunch of other cool things. They released statues, they released games, they released the original artwork and all sorts of other cool things. One of my favorite things that they released that completely skipped my attention and it bothers me, I actually kind of hope I can find it. It was released last year, apparently. I hope I can find it again, is the HeroClix. All right, I used to love HeroClix when they first came out. And then I lost them all in 2011, like I lost all my comic books, whatever. I think everybody knows that story by now. If not, check out my podcast every Saturday at 8 Eastern Standard Time. I almost always reiterate that I lost all my comics in 2011. Anyway, the HeroClix, dude. They've got the Ali and that version of depowered Superman going out with each other, and they've actually got a ring with the squares, the tiled squares inside and everything for movement. Oh my God, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And I would probably pay $50 for that. I don't know how much it actually was. I wouldn't pay a lot more than that. It was a Comic-Con exclusive in 2017. But yeah, I could see myself paying $50 for that. Like, that is awesome. So they released a lot of merchandise in regards to this game. This comic book event back in 1978. It was glorious. It was beautiful. And it had just some of the best messages you could imagine. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where I could show so many proofs that social justice concerns were important in the comic books, Marvel and DC, for a long time. And yeah, it did get a little bit out of control. It got a little bit disingenuine later. And that's the thing that bothers me, is the disingenuine aspect that happened later. But before that, there were very genuine attempts. So those of us who were in the know on both sides of that event, they're the people who were really upset that it just got disingenuine for a while. But then there are people who they aren't intelligent enough to understand what those people were originally saying. So they just say, all of the stuff is disingenuine. No, that's absolutely not true at all. Not even remotely. And most of the things that people call, dare I say it, SJW, actually aren't. But there's plenty that is. And the problem is, most people who are talking about it all the time can't discern the difference between the two. So there's that. Anyway, this was a very good book about trying to bring people together and see our similarities. Like, it's one of the jokes that I always say. One of these days we'll put aside all of our so-called ethnic differences, our so-called racial differences. Human race, dude, it's only one. And we'll come together because aliens will come down and we'll have to unite to defeat this common enemy. I joke when I say that, but then there's this comic book. And that's a lot of where I get this from, So anyway, all of that good stuff aside, seriously, this is one of my favorite comic books of all time. It's an awesome story. It's amazing artwork. I don't know where else to go with that. Anyway, guys, links below to all sorts of good stuff. And I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.
Child of the wilderness she was,